Hey everybody, this is Craig Brody from Investment Motorcars in Fort Lauderdale. We have today a really hard to find car in wonderful original condition. This is a 1986 Ferrari V-12i with a factory 5-speed transmission. For most of you, this car doesn't really look like a Ferrari. It happens to be one of the unusual cars that sat 4 full-sized adults. They started production of a car like this back in 1974, called a 400 GT 2+2. And then they made them over the years, but most of the cars over the years had automatic transmission. It was designed for the wealthy Rolls-Royce Corniche owner to perhaps buy a Ferrari product. 1985 through 89, they made a V-12i. It was the last iteration of the 4-passenger car of that time. It still retains a motor that's identical to the Daytona. Of course, everybody knows the Daytona. It's the same setup, the same motor virtually as the Daytona. Front engine V12 with the 5-speed. Out of all the production of the 5-speed transmissions, they made a total of 147. Very low production. The color of the car is Blue Sera Metallic. The interior is either tan or crema or cream, whichever you choose to call it. The car has 29,000 original miles. Come take a look. What makes this car so desirable is the following. It had the last owner, who lived here in Fort Lauderdale, owned the car for 17 years. He has been using one service person down here. Second, the car for the last 12 years has been serviced by Tim Stanford, who is really very world-renowned, and he's the only fellow that I let touch these cars. In 12 years of service, the car has bills well over $30,000 for maintenance and rebuilding of the car over the years. I believe the paint could be original, but it may have had a respray sometime in its life. I'm not sure exactly when, but the car, the fit and finish is beautiful. It looks very original. Come and look at the interior on this beautiful car. The front seats are magnificent, but they have been redone by a local fellow here. Name is Phil from Gold Coast Interiors. He does a fabulous job. The rest of the interior appears to be completely original and exceptionally clean condition. The back seat looks like it's never even been sat in. It's really a luxurious car, beautiful appointments, very comfortable, strictly for 4. What a great car to go out to dinner in. Cold factory air conditioning. I just did a service on the car. I'll explain that once I show you the motor. The blue dashboard is impeccably clean. The console. The fit and finish is beautiful. Here's that beautiful V12 hidden up front. I just did a service with Tim Stanford. There is a set of 6 belts that are up in the front area where the alternator and the power steering pump and the AC compressor is. There are 6 small belts. I think the service cost me about $1,000 to $1,500 somewhere. I'd have to look. But I just replaced those 6 belts that run the power steering, that run the AC, and that run the, I think the alternator. That was just done. As I mentioned, the AC is very cold. The car runs very cool. Very reliable car. You should have no issues, no troubles with it. Oh, that V-12 turn. It's very much like driving a Daytona or driving other V12 model Ferraris from the period. Very comfortable. The windows are wide open. I wanted you to hear the motor, hear the exhaust tone. You can really enjoy this car with the 5-speed. Way better than the slush box. Well, here is the view of what I am seeing of the dashboard. We've been driving the 412i now for about 20 minutes. She purrs beautifully, but as you can see, the temperature and the gauges all are just what you want them to be. Oil pressure, the temps, everything is really, really great on this car. It absolutely runs perfectly, and the AC is ice cold. We're now driving the car with the windows up and the air conditioning on. It's very, very quiet inside. You can still hear the throaty V12 motor up front. All the power features in this car, they work exceptionally well. It has, of course, power steering and brakes, windows, of course. It has a power trunk lid. It has a power trunk lid that pulls down the trunk lid like a Cadillac. It has pneumatic suspension. The suspension, once you turn the car off, settles the car down like a Citroen, about 4 inches down. It sits hovering over the tires. It's quite an interesting appearance. And when you start the car lifts up and it stays in place. It's an air suspension. Again, it's perfect. There's no issues with it. These cars, everyone's under the misnomer that they're expensive to run or keep up. But that's only when you don't drive them. These cars are meant to drive. You drive them every day, every other day, every week. You don't have any problems. You don't tend to have any issues at all with the cars. That's just how it is with these cars. If you let them sit, you have lots and lots of problems.
I'm putting that in there.